So looking at the countdown, and this actually came up in my mind when we were talking earlier about sensuality, about the embrace of lube. 'Cause I think like that's directly related to the idea of sensuality, of like not just focusing on, um, well, one could argue it is focusing on penetration, but not necessarily, right? It could be, hybrid massage oils. It could be things that have like CBD, and doing really focusing on lube as I'm trying not to make any like really stupid puns. I'm just like talk slowly. Um, but no, like, something that really focuses on pleasure instead of just like functioning and getting things, done. 'Cause people were scared of lube for ages. They're like, oh, I don't need that. It means I'm not a real person, and it's so much more than that. It's so much about the experience and like the sensations and like, you know, connection.
Yeah, lube has come a long way. I mean, I know that, yeah, that there's the conversation around people not needing it, and feeling like, I know there's the conversation around being like, oh, I should have a natural lubrication, or if you can't make your partner wet, then there's something wrong with you. Like, there's a lot of this kind of sex negative talk around lube, and I think that's definitely changing, which is incredible. And I think everyone should use lube, and I think everyone should give it a go, just for the sake, even if you feel like you don't need it per se. It's almost just like it changes sex, right? It changes things.
Yeah.
It just adds an element of a different sense, like it adds a different sensual experience, right? And the other side of the conversation that I really want to talk about is the fact that lube has come a long way in terms of the actual ingredients, like the actual just like the basic ingredients. Because I used to use
kill you.
I used to use lube, like, and it was so full of sugar. I literally used to sit and eat it like it was like a pina colada flavored lube. And I just come home from I was at school, bearing in mind I was a teenager at this point. I just come home and just start eating it because I'd be like, it tastes amazing, but I don't want to put it down there because I have like a real high tendency to get thrush. And like the times where I would use lube, I just noticed that like the sugar, and only now in hindsight am I realizing that like, if you don't use the right kinds of lubes, it can really mess up your pH.
It mess you up.
It messed you up, right? And like that's not fun. Like, it's kind of ruins the experience. But my favorite lube was actually not supposed to be, it wasn't not allowed to be used as a lube, but OHNE, OHNE, is a period product company, and a few years back they released a CBD oil, right? And I take CBD oil for my anxiety orally, but then they released this one for the body where you can use it on your temples, you can use it on your stomach for period cramps. And I started using it as lube for masturbation, and I was like, this is awesome. Like,
right?
It's so subtle, and I know that other people that have tried CBD lubes have felt like I've spoken to some people and they said, oh, it doesn't really do anything for me. But I know, again, with the process of sensuality and slowing things down and really becoming tuned in with your body, I fell in love with it. And I remember just feeling like so much more. And I think I haven't used it for a while now, but because I ran out and I need to get some more.
Very
but
practical reason.
Because I mean, CBD isn't necessarily that cheap as well, right? Like, I don't know if you invest in CBD products yourself.
No, not yet. It's been on my list of things to try, but I just like haven't gotten around to it, and like it's not. I would say it's not urgent, because like I don't, I feel like all my friends who have actually tried CBD products have had like a very real reason, whether it be like period pain or some kind of chronic this or that. And like I've been meaning to actually use to try it out for, I have chronic joint pain in my knees.
Yeah.
So like it's high on my to-do list, but I also, when it comes to lubricants, I'm a little bit wary of additives, because like, how they had like those heat ones, and it's like flames, just flames.
Don't even go
Just
there.
flames.
Why would anyone want that? Sorry, I'm getting very like hot just
Flames.
thinking about it.
Like, why did you think this was a good idea?
I remember when I was younger, I tried like the tingle one, and it was like, oh, it feels like someone's putting toothpaste on me. Like, this is a bit like, obviously I feel like some people might like the experience, but then I got some free heat one with a toy that I was reviewing once, and oh my god,
Flames.
it was horrible. It's as if someone had rubbed chilies. And I know I've got little
Flames.
chili earrings, which are just like, maybe this is a symbol for like never use heat lube ever again. As sexy as chilies are, and you want to spice things up in the bedroom, be warned. It's
Use
painful.
at your own peril. I'm not doing it. So
No,
like, well, I'm really open to all these ideas, but I'm just like, I'm terrified just because I had a bad experience once, and I'm not in a hurry.
I
I'm in a
mean,
hurry to do that again.
I had a bad experience, and then I tried it again. I was like, I should have learned. I should have learned. Don't do it. And you like have to shower, and you're like, cool me down. I think the other lubes that I wanted to talk about was just flavored lubes. I know I talked about how I used to just sit and eat my pina colada flavored lube when I was younger, but actually lubes have come a long way from that. And there are some amazing flavored lubes that exist out there that are better, like have better ingredients, are really good for pH balance. There's also lubes that are designed specifically for people who are sensitive to getting thrush. Into the Wild, I think, is a brand that I haven't used personally, but I've heard people say good things, and they use natural ingredients, and are just very like aware that if you have a sensitive pH, like if you have a sensitive flora and fauna, sensitive flora. I've heard people say flora and fauna, and I've never actually used it.
Yeah, but I feel like when you say fauna, then it's like a deer is gonna come like charging down at your vagina.
Yeah, Bambi. If you have a sensitive Bambi, we can cut this bit out, right? No, it's fine. No, I think Lube has come a really far way, and that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah, let's close that door. And then looking at number 3, yeah, just this one's pretty self-explanatory. You know, yes, so I'll read it just for the sake of reading it. I've read every other one, but so emphasis on queer inclusion and gender neutrality. So one thing that I found really crappy when I first got into the space was that it really wasn't inclusive, and everyone I knew was queer who was using toys. So the fact that it was like so heteronormative really kind of shocked me. Um, and then it's taken so long for us to come to this realization. And I would think like, now we're seeing more inclusion, but not just queer inclusion, but it's even, like we talked about earlier about disability inclusion and ability inclusion. We talked about, I mean, racial inclusion is happening as well. But I think that like once you start adding more populations, the others kind of follow. When you're having conversations about what it means to be XYZ population and what you need that might be different than some other population. And obviously, sex is very individual in a real way, but like even starting that conversation is really important. So one of our clients, VDOM, is awesome in this space. So
we love the VDOM.
Right, because like so Glenise is the founder of Ski Tech, who are the kind of parent company of the VDOM, and what they're trying to do is create a prosthetic, and I think they've already are doing it, right, creating a prosthetic for easy accessible sex on the go. I'm going to say it like that. I don't think that's their tagline, but that's the way I think of it. And it's like designing, Glenise is a queer woman. And so she's designing products for people who have the pain point that she has. So it's just like a really a different experience when you have people who identify with the population creating toys for, you know, the community. It's just this entire different experience.
Yeah, for sure. And I had a similar experience coming into this space, like feeling really frustrated. So I came from my master's degree, which was, heavily on queer theory, and just like thrown into the sex tech space that I just assumed would be like on board. I just assumed, I was like,
Exactly.
everyone's queer, right? Like, that was kind of or at least everyone's at least queerly educated, but obviously that's not the case. There's the mainstream, like there's the heteronormative kind of narrative that dominates society. My bubble was burst. And I was working in the sex tech space, and I was writing copy about vibrators, and I definitely felt this kind of pushback, right? Like, so I was trying to make it queer inclusive, and I was saying like, this product is for so many bodies, and why are all these products being marketed for women, for men? Like, what's this need? Like, this toy is for vulvas, or this toy is for penises. Like, this
Yeah.
idea that this toy can be used for so many different types of relationships. The kind of base norm was always like, it's a cis heterosexual couple, and I think I was so driven in the space to change that. I was like, I need to queer the conversation, because this is not everyone's experience, and these toys
Exactly.
these toys are accessible for so many people. Why are we excluding people?
It just
So
makes no sense.
it doesn't make any sense, but I understand from a point of view that the people in the space were those people that only had those experiences, and now we're seeing this kind of real drive. Like, there's a load of people who are queer and creating products and creating devices and creating apps, and I know, like, there's like trans and non-binary people creating toys and apps that are,
Yeah.
dedicated for those populations.
Yeah.
And I think that's absolutely amazing. But again, like, just, and there's also the move from generally, I think, in the sex positive sphere, to be like, yeah, actually, yeah, these products are for different types of bodies, and just updating the language. I think for me was just like, I just want people to understand that these products and these devices and these apps and the space, and just educating people on sex education, like, there's so much more to sex than what we're taught in school, and that's kind of what
Exactly.
we're brought up thinking. But yeah, I definitely think that there's this move.
Yeah, there's definitely this move, and it's incredibly important, right? And that it's not just in name only, right? That is in, we talked about ergonomics earlier. We talked about, designing for disabilities, designing for people who might have uh, just different relationship between mind and body, designing for, alignment, designing for the right identity. It's really important that you meet people where they are, because this is people's lives, right? And so what I love about this movement is that people are actually thinking about, how can we design a product that is going to help people align with their mind faster,
Yeah.
and reach this level of comfort that brings joy, instead of talking about reducing dysmorphia, or instead of talking about reducing some kind of pain. Like, talk about, you know bringing celebration of these populations into the forefront.
Yeah.
And some of the products that like exist already, like you already said, it's like these are already useful for people, but like, if I don't see myself in the packaging, I might not even know to pick it up.
Yeah.
Like, period.